Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Staubenberg, and I am doing another installment to Your Brain on Google. Today, I wanted to talk about the fabulous app Google Classroom. It is so great because it organizes you, but it helps you manage your student assignments effortlessly, as well as reducing the number of photocopies that you need for your class. Anything that saves time is fabulous. So I wanted to show you, I'm going to go into one of my Google Classrooms that I use for training. One of the groups that I train at the district is students. So sometimes students are very confused about how to turn in assignments. So today I wanted to show you not only how to get around the settings in your Google Classroom, but I also wanted to show you how students turn in their work. So I wanted to show you a little bit about your Google Classroom and how you can get around in your Google Classroom. So this is my title that I created this class, and I have this class code right here. If I want students to join my class, they would click on the plus join, and this is the code that they would need to enter. I want to show you that again. I'm going over here. Here's the class code. There's the little square. It says display right on it as soon as you hover on it. So when I click it, it makes it big so the students, I can display it to the class and the students can type in that code. On the stream, it's all about the notifications that are happening in your classroom. Let's say that you wanted to make an announcement about a school dance or parent conferences or something like that. You could share that right here with your class, just typing it in. I'm going to cancel that right for now. You can see the assignments that I have posted, and in the stream, it shows me those notifications right there. I wanted to show you how you can change some of your settings in your classroom, which might make your stream more productive depending on the purposes that you're using this classroom for. So not every classroom has to be for instructional purposes. Sometimes your Google Classroom is for training purposes or for teaching them about digital citizenship or something like that. So of course you can use your classroom in those ways as well. So I'm going to click on settings, and here's all my settings here as far as my class name and title and things like that, which you already created when you created it. But then general is this class code that I just showed you. Sometimes you want to disable that code. You already have your students who have entered and you want to turn it off right now, or you want to reset the code. You can copy the code or you can display the code right there. Just like the little square that I showed you, you can display it there as well. That's another place you can display it. Right now I have this that only teachers can post or comment. If I was doing a training with students, I might allow them to post for a short time to teach them about that digital citizenship lesson about what is to post, but also what is appropriate for posting. You can turn that on and off. And they can post and comment. What would be something that would be okay for them to post, such as if you wanted them to post a presentation and you're saying, wow, that was a really great presentation, and then you could allow them to post it if you wanted to for them. That would be making it public to your classroom. So at this time, I have it that only teachers can post and comment at this moment, but like I say, I might change it at a later time. Classwork on the stream. This is on the stream, those notifications. You can hide them so you don't see them at all. You could show condensed notifications, or you can show everything, the attachments, everything. I find that's really convenient because then students who are just learning Classroom and they forget to click on the Classwork tab, they can get to it in two places. So I have it turned on. So that's up to you. You can turn on that they can see the deleted items, the things that you delete or not. So I have it turned off, but you could turn it on. Guardian summaries, I have it turned on because I want the parents to know about upcoming assignments that are going to happen for their students, but also if they have late work. So it's a toggle on. So I'll show you. Toggling it off, toggling it on. As soon as I toggle it on, it comes up with this pop-up that says add class to Guardian email summaries. Yes, I want to add my class. I want to see the example to show you what a summary is going to look like to the parents. Here's an example. It shows student work missing from last week. So it's going to show you the assignments, when they were due, and what they were supposed to do. But it's also going to show you upcoming next week. This is going to be due next week, and it's going to show them things that they can keep up on top of with their students. Oh, this student has 2 missing assignments, and they're going to have 2 more this next week. They better get on top of it. And it helps the parents stay on top of their students and support your classroom. Down here at the bottom is your grading settings. In your grading settings, there's different way that you can set up how you are going to see your grading choices. So when you are trying to give points to your student assignments, it is determined by how you have it set up here. So this is pretty important. Overall grade calculation. How do you want it to be set up? Do you want it to be no overall grade, total points, or weighted by category? If you're doing weighted by category, you would also need to set up the grade categories down here. I have it just set to points for right now because most students that I'm training understand points. But if you're going to do a more sophisticated type of grading, make sure that you're teaching the students what the expectations are. Do you want to show the overall grade to students? You can turn that on so that they see that as soon as they log into your classroom, or toggle it off. In our district, we're using an Aries portal and an Aries gradebook, so I have it turned off so that they would get their grade in their portal, but that, of course, is a personal preference. At the top, there is a Save button. So make sure that anything that you are changing in your classroom that you have hit Save, because this is not a place where auto saving is happening. So make sure that you've hit any changes to save to any changes that you've made. I can click out of here. See, it says your changes have not been saved. I want to make sure that my changes are being saved. For this case, I didn't change anything, so I'm just discarding them. But normally you would hit save. In the second tab, you're going to see Classwork. Classwork is where the majority of things that you do as a teacher are going to happen. So I'm going to click Classwork, and you can see those same assignments that I talked about before. I can create another assignment here. I can create an assignment, a quiz, a question, material, or I can reuse something that I've already created. I can also organize things by topic or add more topics there. When you created a classroom, 2 things were also created in the background. This is Google and your brain on Google. So Google is already creating a class drive folder and a Google Calendar for all of this work to live, which helps you stay organized as an educator as well as saving time. So I wanted to show you the assignments that are here that have been turned in are going to be in my class drive folder as soon as they turn them in. So that's already organized. I don't need the students trying to send things to my email. They're going to turn it in right into their drive, and it's automatically going to be put into this folder for me to score. So you can see within this folder that it put in my drive, it created a folder for each of the assignments that I created. So in this one, I had one student who turned in an assignment and I graded it, and it's right here. This assignment is in this folder right there. So as soon as I grade them, that's where they go. So it helps you stay organized. The other thing I wanted to show you is that Google is also set up in a Google Calendar so that these dates that I'm receiving work are going to now show up in my calendar as well. So it's just convenient. I don't have to go all the way over here to my calendar. It's just right in my classroom. So right here, it says that I have an assignment. That's the assignment right there. I can click on it and there it is. And it shows me my assignments right there. So keeping you organized in the background. So that's on the classwork page. Now I want to show you about creating a question. This is a question that I added. So sometimes I have more than one grade level of students or age level of students in my trainings, and sometimes I ask them a question such as, what is your current grade level, so that I can adjust my training. So I'm going to add another question here, and I might ask them if they have ever logged into Google before. Because some of the students that I work with, some of them might have logged into their G Suite school account and needed help on their classroom. And some of them may have never logged into their Google account and have no idea even what their username and password is. That's kind of a different training, and I would have to do that first before I get into the meat and bolts of how to use their classroom. I can Students can reply to each other. I can turn that on or off. If I want to assess if they've ever logged into their Google account, I probably don't want them whispering to each other what the answer is at that moment, because I want to train on that. I can make this question an ungraded question. I can say that when it is due. Let's say it's due tomorrow. I can add a topic. I can tell it what kind of an answer they're giving. Are they giving in a multiple choice or a short answer? Because it's just a question. They can edit their answer. I don't really want them to edit. I just want them to tell me quickly, yes or no. Have you ever logged into your Google account? And then that will help me fine tune my training and where I need to begin with these students. And then I'm just going to ask. And it takes a little bit while it's saving it. And now if I go to my class drive folder, guess what I'm going to see? I'm going to see, do you think I'm going to see it? I should. But the other place I wanted to show you is how to grade these. So you can see that these look differently than those icons. So they are graded slightly different. I can view the question right there. And nobody has turned it in yet, but if I wanted to, I could score it right here from this screen. And I could return their work right here. Down here, oops, this is a different icon. Let me show you how that looks. In this case, they're creating a Google Doc. So it has a folder here. So you notice on the question, I didn't have a folder, but on this Google Doc where I told them to create a Google Doc, it's given me a folder for that. And it says there's an error because nobody has turned that one in yet. it's been assigned, but nobody has turned it in yet. You see how it says assigned and turned in? So when I clicked on that, it gave me an error that it's not found. Well, yeah, it's not found because nobody turned it in. So if you're seeing those errors, I wanted to show you that that's normal because nobody has turned it in. I'll show you this one. This one has been turned in. So I'm going to click on that. And it says that it's been turned in. And you'll see one is assigned and one is turned in. So this one is turned in because it's right here and it says it's graded because I already submitted that grade right there. This one has not been turned in yet because there's no attachments. So I just wanted to show you how it looks different over here. This one has not been turned in, so I can't give it a grade yet. This one has been graded. I clicked on it and gave it a grade, and then I was able to return it to the student. When you do it right from within Google, you see the little return button? When you do it right from within Google and you score it here, it's going to organize it so that when you're returning it to them, it's going in the folder that it created for you, and it's going in the folder that it created for them. Now, I wanted to show you a little bit about the people that you are sharing your Google Classroom with. So when I click on people, they mean all of the people who can see anything about your class. So right here is teachers. Right now, I am the only teacher. So I wanted to show you a little bit about what the difference is between adding a teacher to adding a student. They're both added in a similar way. So if I added a teacher, I can type in their name or their email, and I can invite. It says teachers you add can do everything you can except delete the class. So in this case, it means that they can grade your assignments. They can delete assignments because it didn't say they couldn't delete assignments. It said they couldn't delete the class. So those are some things that you really need to think about is what is your purpose behind sharing a class with a teacher? Do you want them to have editing rights to your class? Do you want them to add assignments to your class? Do you want them to grade assignments in your class? If this is your purpose and you want to co-teach together, that's fabulous. But if that's not exactly what you meant when you thought you were sharing it with the class, you can always add them as a student. So unfortunately, I cannot be a student and a teacher in this class. So if I tried to add myself, I can't do it. So if I tried to add the code, which I did try, but I can't be a teacher and a student in the same class. But I could add a partner teacher here as a student. In this case, they could see everything in my class. They could view everything in my class. And that way they could, if I was working with a partner teacher, for example, and I wanted our both classes to be similar and have similar assignments, they could always see everything in my classroom. I could always share things in my classroom, but they wouldn't necessarily have control over my grades. So those are things to be thinking about as you are sharing your information with other teachers and other students. Now, right here, I'm just going to click and show you how it's different. It's exactly the same as what you see with the teachers, except that if you add somebody as a student, they can view everything. Remember that you could also go back to the stream and click display, and they can add themselves as a student there. So they cannot add themselves as a teacher here. They can add themselves as a student here. So you can always add yourself as a student to somebody else's class. So I will show you a third person that you can add to your class. So you can add a teacher, you can add a student or another adult as a student so that they have view access, but you can also invite your guardians as I showed you earlier in the cog. So I can click invite guardians right there. I can click their name if they already have an email set up with the school, or I can add their email address. This would be a great thing for back to school night to make sure parents are signing up with their email so that they can get this invitation from you. And remember, they can view those notifications. They can't have any control over your class. They can't add assignments. They can't add comments, but they could view, and they would get that weekly summary of the work that their child is missing or that's coming up so that they can plan. The last tab over here is kind of a new tab, and that's your grade tab. So I showed you a little bit earlier in the classwork tab of how you could grade your assignments. Well, this is another place that you could grade assignments. It's showing me an overview of what I have scored and what I have not. If I have empty boxes, I haven't graded those assignments yet. This says that I didn't assign it yet. This one, this student hasn't gotten assigned, and this one turned in an assignment, but I didn't grade it. So let me just show you. I can click on the title of an assignment. And when I click on the title of the assignment, I can grade that assignment. See, it says ungraded. I can click on it and I can see it. So this person doesn't have anything turned in, so I could reply right there or add a private comment and say, well, I don't see anything. You turned something in, but I don't see anything. You need to resubmit. So I could add that comment right there. And just reply. And so it's posting. So in this way, we have instant feedback, but also a dialogue that we can have in between this teacher and the student to talk to them about how they can make their grade better. I can see what the question was and my student answers. And I'll just show you where I was. I was in my grades. So right here, it shows me. Okay. So this grading tab will just show you like an overview of all your assignments. I'll show you what the snowman allows you to do. It allows me to edit the assignment right there, delete the assignment, or return them all. So if it was an ungraded one and they all turned them in, but I just said, okay, 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 you can just return them all if it was an ungraded assignment if you wanted to. So for example, this has no points because it was ungraded. I could just return all if I wanted to. So I'm hoping that this overview of using your Google Classroom and creating your assignments is helpful to you as you are getting started. One last thing that I forgot to add that I wanted to show you was about your sharing options right here in your classwork. So for example, I'll just create a new assignment quickly, and I wanted to show you that you could add materials right here, and you could give the students view-only access if you wanted to, or you could give them a sheet, for example. So instead of making copies, you could add it right here. You could add a link. You could add something from your drive right here. So I'll just show you something from my drive. Let's just pick something. I'll pick this. So I can share that with students can view the file. Students could edit this file, or make a copy for each student. So most of the time I'm making a copy for each student, and then when they open it, you would have to tell them to duplicate it, for example, so that they could have it in their drive, but then they would need to make a copy of it so that then they could write on it. So those things, and when you assign them, I'm just going to get out of this right now because it's not really an assignment, but that way they would have a copy of the document or the worksheet, and then they would make a copy of it so that then they can have a writable copy of it. So if you give them editing rights over your document, they're changing yours too. So if you're giving them an edited document, such as a Google Doc that you want them all to collaborate on, they can see everybody's adjustments and changes, and so you could do it that way. But if it's something that you have created as a teacher, make sure that you are giving a copy to everyone so that they each have their own copy, but they're not changing yours. So they can take their copy that is yours, they can duplicate it or copy it, and then they can write on it, so it's not changing your original file. I hope that this has been helpful to you, and I wish you well as you start using your Google Classroom and managing your assignments. I would love to hear how you are utilizing your Google Classroom with your students. Please comment on my video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you, everyone. I look forward to seeing you in my next segment. Bye, all.